Hey, Den of Geek and Talking Strange fans, Aaron Sagers here at Ethereal Horror Festival in Austin, Texas. And I am joined by James Morris, who is the writer, director, and co-executive producer of He Never Left, the horror movie that a lot of people are chatting about. So we're going to chat about it right here. James, awesome. Thanks for joining me, man.
Absolutely. Thank you.
So this is the second feature film from your Witching Season production company, right?
Yeah, so Witching Season Films. The first feature, They Live Inside Us, was directed by Michael Balfe. This is the second feature that we've done under that umbrella.
Talk to me a little bit about the plot of He Never Left, because it strikes me as we've got classic elements of slasher, urban legend, a big bundle of like horror right there. Break it down.
Yeah, so He Never Left was kind of originally born as a crime thriller. Originally, there was no mass killer. It took place in the same setting with the same kind of characters, but it was more a suspense about this guy who just hears something in a room next to him, and it kind of builds from there. But during COVID, I pitched the idea to Mike, hoping it'd be our next movie. And he kind of felt that for it to fit under the brand that he'd created, it would need kind of the more of the horror element. So he suggested introducing a mass killer character into it, which actually ended up fitting really, really well. So I went back to the drawing board, as they say, and kind of reworked it with this character added into it, and it just enhanced everything. It made it kind of unintentionally touch on genres like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, right, where there's more going on that meets the eye. There's family members, things like that, right? Not to give too much away, but it just kind of naturally fit. And so, and then I grew up in fairly small towns in Utah, and I had I guess my brother knew her. There was a girl who went missing when I was younger, and to this day, her posters are still up all over the town. And so that imagery, for whatever reason, stuck with me. And so there's some elements just of that in there as well.
Yeah.
So growing up in small town Utah with that kind of backdrop of this thing that happened right where I was growing up. So
yeah, and in parts of Utah, pretty much everywhere, but when you're in these kind of rural areas, it is steeped in lore and legends, everything from skinwalkers to kind of things moving around in the dark, things that go bump in the night. Now, your iconic villain in this is the Paleface Killer.
Correct.
So tell us a little bit about this Paleface Killer, obviously without giving away too much, but set up the legend behind this character.
The movie picks up kind of many years after this character's kind of had his reign of terror. The town that this movie takes place in is kind of haunted by all these people who went missing and everything, and so there's this perpetual fear among the people who live there about Paleface. He was just this guy who, that's what he was known by, and when you see what he looks like, you understand why. But so I guess the legend of that is just kind of it's not like second fiddle, but it was an interesting setting for me to insert these characters into, because the movie following our lead Gabriel, played by Colin Cunningham, it's as much about just his experience in this world as it is about the world itself and the killer itself. So it's as much of like a character piece. At least I tried to make it that, right? Ultimately, it's up to the audience whether or not that worked. But the legend is a great setting, I think, to kind of insert this personal struggle this guy's having.
When you design a character, when you create a character that is a masked villain, obviously horror, we have these high expectations and iconic masks out there. What were you setting out to do with the Paleface mask?
That was a funny one. We were looking for a designer, and we met this great guy, Billy, in the UK, who runs Open Grave Effects. And I just looked at some of his mask designs, and man, they were just so creepy. and I knew we needed something, to your point, because you think mask killer, right? You've got some classics, like, everyone recognizes Jason, everyone recognizes Michael Myers, and even a lot of more modern slashers, right? You see the mask, you can instantly associate with the movie. So I wanted to make something cool, but also something that felt like grounded and original. Because I guess the entire point of this idea was to, like, if a mass killer existed in the real world, what would that be? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so paying homage to things like, Michael Myers and things, but also setting it, that where, for example, our killer can't walk and catch someone, right? It's more grounded. And so I wanted to kind of just have a multi-ranged visual with it. And I ended up drawing some really horrible examples I had in my head and sent them to Billy, and he just sent me back this weird design. Some review somewhere compared it to something like it was the Halloween mask if it had been designed by the Joker.
Okay.
I guess that was the example I heard, and I like that, so that's kind of stuck with me. So, just trying to make something that will stick in people's heads, and again, whether we did that or not up to me to decide, but I think we made something cool at least. So.
Well, we have Paleface, but the main character, the protagonist, as much as he, I guess, anti-hero, whatever he is Gabriel, and he is this on the lam from the feds with his girlfriend, played by Colin Cunningham, who we know from Preacher, Blood Drive. He did the show Falling Skies, and as we were chatting a little bit off camera, when I was on set for Falling Skies, he took me many times in games of pool. I think he's a pool shark.
Small world.
Yeah. So talk about bringing Colin into this film and the type of character that Gabriel is.
So I met Colin down at another festival in St. George called Horror Fest. They were nice enough to ask me to do an actors panel, and so I got to sit up there with Colin Cunningham and Ted Raimi. So I'm like completely out of my element up there, just as this indie filmmaker. But anyway, so afterwards I just touched base with Colin and said, "Hey, care if I get your card and we'll talk down the road?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure." And a few months later, I hit him up just because I had this idea, and I sent him the original draft, and he just said, "Yeah, I like it." He was like super eager. He's like, "Nothing's going on right now because of COVID. We should shoot something this December." And I was like, "I don't know if it's ready yet," but he was just so eager to, and he was such a driving force behind all of that. So getting him to be involved was really, really I think the catalyst to the heart of the film, just because his performance really stands out. There's been people who like it, people who don't like it, but I think universally everyone thinks like Colin's performance really just nails it.
Would you consider Gabriel, his character Gabriel, good guy, bad guy?
That's kind of an interesting question. So a lot of the characters, both Gabriel and Carly, are not drawn from real people, but drawn from real experience. I worked in law enforcement actually I still do technically, for years, and I encountered a lot of broken people, and so those characters were based on those types of people that I'd met. And the experiences where it's not black and white, right? Mm-hmm. People can do bad things, but still be good people. And so in the movie, Gabe has made this horrible mistake, but he's clearly haunted by it. He's not just trying to get away with it. He's trying to escape the emotional element as much as the physical, and eventually that comes to a head. So I don't think he's a bad person. I think he's just made a really bad choice, and ultimately has to atone for it.
Production-wise, you helped fund this film through an Indiegogo campaign. Talk a little bit about that as a creator, as a filmmaker, because people are literally putting up their own money to support your vision, which is incredible. Also, probably a lot of pressure. I don't know what.
Yes and yes. So we've been fortunate enough. This brand that Mike has developed with Witching Season, where we did a series, we did another feature, he does all these other little side projects. It just kind of brought this fan base together. And it's not like we're dealing with huge budgets, but what we've been able to always do is rely on these people who have supported us over the years to just give us a foundation. So the money we raised through Indiegogo, we hit our goals and everything. It's just super humbling. And then we were able to supplement that in the budget with money from the company, which, it also once again exists from other projects that were funded by Indiegogo. So, no, I'm under no illusion that without people who actually cared enough to support, I wouldn't be able to make movies, right? So, it's every time we do a new fundraiser or anything, and I know that's how most super micro budget indies seem to come about, but there's definitely an audience out there, and if you can find your niche and find those people who support you, it's pretty humbling.
Yeah,
to see that come through.
So it seems like you've been killing it. You've been hitting a bunch of film festivals, getting this film in front of a lot of fans. What is next? How can people keep an eye out on He Never Left, support you, and hopefully, feed it into their eyeballs?
Sure. I mean, it's on the festival circuit right now. So it's just going through. I think we have. Off the top of my head, we have several screenings upcoming in the coming months and a lot of festivals still to hear back from. So I'm hoping that momentum continues. The goal is to have the movie out this coming, or 2024, come hell or high water. We got to find a way. We're weighing some offers. We're still looking for some, for distribution, but if you just follow our social media, Witching Season Films, and any subsidiary of that, you can track it. But the movie seems to have a lot of momentum, so hopefully it continues to screen at a lot of places, both here and abroad.
Right on. Well, the film is He Never Left. It's written, directed, and produced by this guy, James Morris, and we're at Ethereal Horror Festival here in Austin, Texas. James, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you. Appreciate it.